YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So today's tutorial I will be showing you the easiest way to make this beautiful flounce to your dress. So the flounce you are seeing right there is being sewn from the center front on one side to the sleeve. So that means we are going to build the flounce on the body center front, and then we'll move on to the sleeve. So for that center front area, you can see we have the flounce sewn at the upper chest line, and I'll be using a quarter of my upper chest. So my chest on my bust is 40, and at that point the flounce was sewn from the center front into the sleeve line. I will divide my bust by 4. That is a quarter of my bust, 10 inches. So I'll set this 10 inches aside, and the rest of my flounce will be built from that chest line into the arm this way. So to build this particular flounce, I have 10 inches on the bodies, the one on the bodies, and I'm going to measure what I have on my sleeve this way. I'll take my tape this way. That's how I'm going to sew this flounce. I'm going to sew it this way. So I'll just make lines with my chalk markings. Okay, so let me just build it. You can continue building as you want. You can even go make circle lines and all that, but I don't want to write anything on this paper. So what I mean is you can just make lines like this where your flounce will be sewn to give you that fluffy look, and then you take the measurements. But I'll just use my tape, as you can see now. So once I sew into from the body, I'll just go into the sleeve this way. I can go into the sleeve that way. So what I'm systematically taking now is the measurement of that flounce that is going to be built on the sleeve. So here I have 54 inches plus 10, that is 64. So this 64 inches, the easiest way to go about your flounce right now is to divide 64 by 3. So if we divide 64 by 3, we have 21.5. Okay, so this 1.5, I'm going to divide it by 6.28. So I'm going to calculate this. Whatever radius I have here, I'll be using it to cut 360. Okay, and I'll show you how to shape it to have this exact flounce on the thumbnail. Alright, so I've already put everything together and I have 3.4. So this 3.4, I'm going to cut. Remember, we divided it by 3. So I'm going to cut my flare using 3.4. So the width of your flounce can be, you can make a flounce at 4 inches width if you wish to have it at 4 inches or 5 inches. So here I'll just measure out my 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches. Okay, sorry, we are cutting 360. So if you are cutting 360, that means you have to fold your paper again. And here I'm going to have my radius. Okay, so this is where I'm supposed to mark my 3 inches, as you can see. So this is my 3 inches. Now I will now mark out my 4 inches. That is if you are using 4 inches for that flounce. I'll just mark out the 4 inches. Okay, so this is it, and I'm going to cut right now. So I'll cut my 360 degrees. I'll cut the radius. So what I have here, I'm going to cut. So right now I've cut 1, 2, 3 of my circles. okay, circle flare, using that calculation. So I'm going to open it up because all of them I'm going to join them. So I'll start joining them now. I'll bring in this, I'll bring this, I'll go to my machine after sewing, cutting my lining. I'll join both lining, I'll join fabric. So I'll just come over here, join lining, join fabric, as you can see. Then I'll come in here, join lining and join fabric too. So once I've joined, once I'm done joining, okay, joining the three of them, okay, I'll be sewing my crinoline to the tip of it, and I'm going to turn it accordingly. So, but before I sew my crinoline, I'm going to shape in what I have on both ends. So I will just go ahead and shape my flounce. So by the time I shape it this way, I have my flounce, okay. Can you see? So instead of going by the spiral flounce, you join the three of them together and you go this way again on this other tip and you shape in. Can you see that? So you can see what we have right here. So by the time you bring your bodies, you have sewn your bodies, you have sewn your sleeves, don't sew the sides before you do this. So for the parts of the center front, I'll start from the center front and sew this, as you can see right there on the thumbnail. If you want, you can still reduce the size, because if you look at what we have on the center front area, that's on the bodies, it's reduced. So I'm just reducing it. You can take the measurement of the reduction, okay? But here I'm just pretending I'm taking my measurements and I'll just reduce. Can you see? So the parts that will be sewn at the front will be reduced, okay? Sewn. Then once I get to the sleeve, I'll just sew on top of the sleeve. I'll follow those lines I made. I'll just follow those lines I made. I'll just turn my sleeve. I'll keep sewing around those lines I marked on the sleeve. Like I said, I didn't want to mark on my sleeve. So you can just sew, you just try and be creative with it. Okay, you can sew very close, you can sew very close, like that, like that, like that, and that is all about this. Okay, so I'm working with paper. By the time you have sewn your crinoline and start sewing this exactly like this, you have that beautiful result. So that is how to go about your easiest way of making your flounce without going the spiral way. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial, and see you in the next class. Bye.